All right, class, this is part 2. I almost felt bad. I was like, oh! I'm good. All right, class, this is part 2 of our Earth land investigation model, all right? So in the video before, I poured water, we did the stream table, and we were watching as the water flowed through our land, our model, and now we're going to look at the results, and we're gonna see what changed about our land, all right? So here we go, look at this. All right, so what I'm gonna ask you to do is I'm gonna ask you to take out this worksheet again, all right? So we first started with the standard setup. I'm gonna put this here, all right? But now we're gonna go so you're gonna draw another rectangle, right? You labeled it standard, right? Because this was a standard setup, but it's standard after the run or after water. All right, so make sure we draw in our rectangle. These numbers represent centimeters, all right? So our land started at 20 centimeters, so go ahead and shade that in like a darker gray or whatever you want to use to indicate that this is where the land started. All right, again, this is the ruler that had our cup on top of it, and now I'm going to show you again our tray, but now I want you to indicate, you're gonna have to represent how far the earth materials was moved once the water was running along it. You're gonna draw where the earth materials end up. All right, so what do you notice? All right, we started at 20 centimeters, but what do you notice? Right, so we have sand and clay. Right, there is sand, but clay is also mixed up in here. Do you notice where the clay has ended up? Look at, so we start here, all the way, it looks like the sand stops here at the about the 28 centimeter mark, but look at, there's still clay. It's all the way, I say clay stops about 36 centimeters. Maybe you think it moves farther, right? What do you think? This is what happened after our water trickled down, all right? But now let's talk about what we are seeing, all right? So, as you can see, we started at 20 centimeters, but now the water has moved, and it's moved farther down. The sand moved at least 8 centimeters from the start, from 20 centimeters to 8 centimeters. So the sand moved 28 centimeters, but we're not just gonna say that it moved, no. I wanna talk about erosion. Erosion is the movement of weathered rock, right? Sand is weathered rock, right? Rock that breaks down over time and it turns into sand, fine, small particles, right? Sand particles. So erosion is the movement of weathered rock by water or wind, right? So the water eroded the earth materials, the sand, and it caused it to move, the movement of earth particles. It moved it farther down, all right? So, erosion can create two things. It can create a valley and a canyon, all right? Now, a valley is a broad area through which a river flows. Now, if you look here, right, we have a wide valley, right? You can see the valley, all right? And a canyon is a narrow, very steep sided valley. So we have a valley, it's wide, but then you can see the canyon, which is much more narrow. You can see that canyon. So again, a valley is a broad area through which a river flows, and a canyon is the very steep-sided valley. So we have a canyon and a valley. All right, and this is all possible because of erosion. But look, the sand has stopped here. Now this has a word, all right? I'm gonna say the word deposition. Deposition is when earth material, which is carried by water, eventually stops moving. So when the earth material erodes and it has stopped moving and it has settled somewhere, we say that it was deposited, or this is called deposition, when earth material moved through erosion stops moving and settles, all right? And the new layer, this new area, is a settlement or sediment. All right, so we have erosion, which moves the earth material through wind or water. It creates valleys and canyons, which you can see here. And then when it stops and it settles, we say that that is deposition. All right, so erosion means to take away, and deposition means to pile up or settle. All right, so we can see I'll show you the beginning and the after pictures, but we can see erosion took place through water coming down, creates valleys and canyons. It settles, deposition. And yes, this is part 2.